Hey, family, jump on that like button for. What's up, Sugar Bear? Sugar Bear, I ain't forgot about you. But I was supposed to got the slides today, man. Now UPS talking about tomorrow. They supposed to been here at 2 p.m. today. I ain't forgot about you. I got you a nice little pack coming. Get you draped up and dripped out. You did. Shout out to the fam out there. I should have been, rolling my little issue. I had to run to the smoke shop. That's why I pushed it back. Had to run to the smoke shop and get a little flower power. You did. Little flower power. That is something like little flower power. That ain't shit. Nate say going live back to back like 2023 Topcatz. Oh, don't burn him out. Don't remind me of him. Nah, but I'm on that type of time. I'm about to do the European tour next month. So I'm finishing up the course. So I leave next month. And I'm gonna try to do some Superman and shit too, man. Just shout out to the ancestors. And if they see it fitting, I could be successful in it. And it's something that I want to do. It sounds like some Superman shit, but if anybody can do it, I can. But just my top priority. I ain't got nothing. I got like 2 weeks to recover and 2 weeks to close out this course, and that'll be the first one. And then we're gonna get ready for the next one. But I think I'm gonna work on my book, and our focus is gonna be directly on homecoming. November, Houston, Texas. It's gonna be the biggest, especially conscious event in Houston in a long time. And hopefully, if the ancestors say the thing, it'll be ever. You know what I'm saying? We want to break the motherfucking scoreboard. You hear me? We want to break the scoreboard. You did? Say, man, engine number 9, say, hit that like button, man. Y'all lacking on the lights. See, I had to go over there and share it. And I seen them lights went right. You feel me? Oh, let's get that out the way. But we even get started with the party. You know what I'm saying? Lights. Man, you got it. Y'all got, we got to look at ourselves as who we are. We got to understand who we are, man. We're champions. We are number one, bro. We are the example. Nah, feel me when I say this. Feel me when I say this, bro. We are the example. You see a lot of these Indians that's coming up behind us, even if they've been doing their thing. But if people are collectively getting together and they're spitting, or they have aspirations of bringing people together and creating events and all that, fam, we the blueprint. When you're talking about Indian politics and you want the real drop, you come here. Nigga, this has always been the lake. This always been the stream. This always been the river. This always been the place where you can pull up and ain't no telling who you will see in the chat. You know what I'm saying? From all fractions. You'll have niggas that don't like each other. That's creative. They in there at the same time, but there ain't nobody finna shoot, ain't nobody finna beef, ain't nobody gonna sit trip. This always been the river, the water. Plenty niggas that sit over here, nigga, and ask for military assistance or just a nigga presence. You feel me? Nah, on gang, nigga, we gonna keep this shit real Indian and keep this shit, yeah. So yeah, we the example, man. So like little shit like hitting the like button, that's for amateur. That's amateur shit. We not on that, man. We got the hardest task out of any collective. We the smallest, but we have the largest and we have the most weight on our shoulders, homie. But we gon' man triple that shit, triple that weight on our shoulder, cause we fade everything, and that's the mentality that we gonna have, especially being an Indian. If y'all was in the building yesterday and y'all caught that, if you notice when you look around, homie, from social media, I know it was popular on TikTok. A lot of people was hitting me, hey, bang on this topic, for as the creek, and me personally, I knew last week when it first happened, I actually said something because George and Bro Sanchez is on the panel, and I said, hey, they won today. But I look into it, and I kept my opinion to myself, but I'm glad I did speak out. It was a few things happened if you didn't notice, you did. So I had went and pulled up an old joint just to bring in context on the creek, that time period, that era. You feel me? I want to bring you in so we can see ourselves in the story. We want to name names just in case somebody out there, family or might seen that along they search for themselves down their journey. You dig what I mean? Boom. So we covering our bases. And then OG Waldo pull up. I see him. So in my mind, I already know what's finna happen. If you could uh just go back through the tapes. They not labeled or marked, but every time me and Waldo get on the panel, you feel me? It's a good day. Oh, for the end zone, it's a good day. And so when I seen him, boom, I'm like, this the ancestor, like I said, I didn't want to speak about it. I'm like, and then it's a name kept coming up. We even saw they representatives being there, that people actually being a part of this. And then we come to we get the real shit. You gotta come over here and get the real shit, or you'll get that other shit. Niggas cheering, clapping, nigga letting balloons up, nigga wearing all white, pouring out libations, thank you ancestors, niggas trying to sign up. And then, you gotta come here and you get a whole nother history lesson. You get a reality check. Hold on, cuz uh that ain't us. That ain't for us. You feel me? But and so I'm glad I did come out, and the ancestors wanted that message out. Yeah, everybody else, they posting this out on the news and shit. Content creators popping out, niggas, thinking it's a victory, and then y'all get a chance to get the real. But so this is what I'm saying. Hitting the like button and different things like this, just supporting. We ain't been in the whole 5 minutes. Nate with a mid-range jumper, put some points on the board, get this bitch turned up. We breaking the scoreboard. So yeah, man, it's our love. And I just want to tap y'all on the shoulder sometimes, say, hey fam, do you know who you are? Like, you know what you part of? Like, nigga, our name's gonna be edged and stone. You know what I'm saying? We gotta show up every day like that, nigga. We gotta practice like that. So when we get there, nigga, and it's game time, we execute. You did nothing but execution, homie. Yeah. Fight for the next man on side of you, homie. Ain't nobody coming to save us, nigga. We Indians. Ain't nobody coming to save us, nigga. Never in a million years nobody would have thought we would be here where we at, nigga. No government funding, nigga. No big names or none of that type of shit, nigga. Really having to take the stairs when niggas get the elevator, you did. Ain't nobody walk you in and say, hey, this, the nah. Everything off the muscle. You feel me? And so the foundation can't be moved because the nigga really had to build it by hand. You know what I mean? And a lot of sacrifices, unbalanced. We go through the years. Brother brought up 2023, probably one of my most imbalanced year I ever had. dealing with mental health and all type of shit, dealing with, me chasing greatness. I'm 700, 800, 900, 600 slides and shit each lecture, just chasing greatness, but I'm losing myself. You feel me? I'm losing, family, friends. I ain't got the time. I'm so locked in and focused on this. And, it's shit like that. You dig that sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? So unbalanced. And so I told the Ancestor 24, homie, I just want balance. And they took me out the lectures, man, and took me on tour. Now dig them blues. So now everything, all that work you put in, now here go the reward. We gonna send you back there. You gonna go back home, you gonna get your downloads. You gonna remember when you walk these grounds. You gonna feel the pain of what happened here. You gonna feel the joy. You gonna feel the greatness of what was built here. You dig, and you gonna get it, and you gonna take it back to the people. Bet that up. Say less. Job accomplished. We did that. We here in 2025. We pushing and pushing and pushing. You dig? And so we here now, man. But I just want to make it clear, and y'all understand when y'all look at the man or the woman in the mirror, that y'all are the example. And people are watching you guys who are inspired by y'all, who want to build a community, of like-minded people, or be around like-minded people as y'all self. So the rookie shit, like hitting the like button or somebody having to tell you, or another one of the Indian brothers or sisters got to tap you and say, hey, look out, fam, the likes ain't liking. You know what I'm saying? That's a nigga telling you, hey, homie, you off your square. We supposed to be armed and dangerous, nigga. We're special forces. We are the last motherfuckers you call. We're the cleanup crew. We're the best of the best at what we do. So understand who you are, fam. Now on some real Indian time. You dig? Understand who you are. Understand your position. You dig? Because it's a lot of people out there who counting on us. You feel me? Now it's a lot of people who want to get busy. They looking to, build their communities up. You know what I'm saying? And hey man, say man, Jack, we gotta make sure we on our building. Man, what my shit that I just had? What we doing? I know I ain't do that for that. Yeah, on some real engine on shit. Y'all ready to turn the league, get some flames in the game. Yeah, light this bitch up, man. Y'all already know, nigga. Light it up. It's an Indian party. Let go. I'm a dog. I'm a what? What's the word? Mother dragon. Top of Indian. No, Indian town. Oh, right. Spit rain. Hey, what's up, Wolf? She said, take your time. Hey, I said, baby, I'm a dead wall. She said, take your time. Let go. I said, baby, I'm a dog. Oh, Mary Jane. No kid talking about it's time to break it in. Let go. 32 black on pants size because they try to break it in. No condo, say your name at the front. You can stay if you want. It's been one of those nights I ain't had in a minute. It's been a minute, had to pop a shoulder, recreate the feeling. But you never say the first time. Walk the guard, the black house, fuck. What we doing? Said I'm with my guard down for you. Said I'll be vulnerable, so you can bring my heart if you want to. Let's go. Baby, I'm a dog. She said, take your time. I said, baby, I'm a dog. get on that share button. Share the video out. Are we riding tonight? Why not? Why not? Hold on, let's slow it down a little bit.
Still can't give it up.
Yo, what?
Lead me on, believe before the morning comes. Even though it's what we want, can't keep it up.
Y'all ready? What them BCU Jaguars is? What them Jaguars?
Because you ain't here.
Let go.
You're true leader, and I'm obliged, promise to please ya. If you're open fire, then it's treason, and I decide to go out swinging. My cold swing, dripping every man I'm on. I don't even care as long as you're laying in my bed. I'm cold, what everyone said, I'm all in. I couldn't connect as long as you're fever, cold as first you can feel. I really need somebody. Tell me you get somebody. I don't care about your body. Let the way you touch my body. Front of it, get body. I never tell nobody. All I want is you, boy. All I want is you. All I need is you, boy. All I need is you. It's just me and you, boy. It's just me and you. I really need somebody. Tell me you that somebody. Tell me what you in the mood for. Tight shit, we should get a room for. Got me in the mirror getting cute for it. Like back, let me show you what I do for it. Pull like the bad light in a new toy. Blow back, now we kissing in the food court. You the type that I would've skipped school for. This shit I got you in my mood for. I wanna look at your skin. When I jump out, you jump in. I fit all this in my pants. Same way I fit you in my plans. Let the fact that we just friends. And I hate that we just friends. Round two, he want revenge. Over and over again and again. I really need somebody. Tell me you get somebody. I don't care about your body. Let the way you touch my body. Front of it, get body. I never tell nobody. All I want is you, boy. All I want is you. All I need is you, boy. All I need is you. It's just me and you, boy. It's just me and you. I really need somebody. Tell me you get somebody. Damn, sheesh, you make it so hard to be peaked. Got me wearing my heart on my sleeve. I be missing you soon as you leave.
You be doing what? You be missing me? What? You be say what now? You be missing me? I don't believe. Prove it.
Damn, really missing you soon as you leave. Double texting that really ain't me. Double tap on that pick and delete. I got him bringing sand to the beach. He got me going up on a yacht. I might keep going, baby, don't stop. Only one got the key to the box. Katie body like you seen her all. I get messy, you might need a mop. She like messy, we kick it alive. While she chasing, I'm climbing on top. Got me screaming at your first name. Picking up on the first ring. Come do me the worst way. Don't care what no birds say. You was always first place. Got me calling out work today. Come get some day. I really need somebody. Tell me you get somebody. I don't care about your body. Let the way you touch my body. Front of it, get body. I never tell nobody.
Let go.
All I want is you, boy. All I want is you.
Hold
All I need is you, boy. All I need is you. It's just me and you, boy. It's just me and you. Tell me you that somebody.
Yeah. Hi, shit. Big go in, John. How you feeling? How you feeling? How you feel? How you feel? Y'all doing all right? Man, boy, it's hard to go live. Truth said, yo, Top, my spirit said Top is on right now. You lie. Now, that was your ancestors say, nigga, get your ass over there to class, nigga. You're late. Get over there before you be late. Nigga, tuck your shirt in, nigga, goddamn. Go on, get on in there, nigga. Class then started. Big Rand say he mad himself in not in this picture. You in the other pictures, Rand? Did you get a calendar? Y'all, man, listen, fam. Man, bro, I made a $600 investment on them calendars, fam. And I've been sending them out free. Like, ain't too many people get a calendar. And it kind of confused me. Like, damn, nigga, you in them. Like, this history. But it's all love, though, you did. We got them. They cheap. They cheap for you. You know, we on some BCU Big Indian shit, so I go get it. What Nunu got a calendar. That motherfucker big, ain't it? It's probably bigger than her little bit ass. Nah, you know, nigga, we BCU. We go big or go home. Nigga, we gonna put the ball in the parking lot. What? Throw that motherfucker this way, nigga. We gonna put that bitch in the parking lot every time, nigga. We going big or go home. On God, nigga. The people that made it, they like, hey fam, you sure you need that size? That's not a real size. Like, no one gets that size. Like, what are you doing? What are you up to? Now, nigga, we went and got it, nigga. So it's like a poster. All of them like poster, nigga. Got your astrology, your new moons, what sign the moon. If y'all tapped in on astrology and all this, yeah, that type shit. But anyway, and it ain't nothing but like $20 or something, bro. Stop playing with me, man. That's a goddamn McDonald's Big Mac meal, man. Stop playing with this Indian shit, man. All right, let's get to it. What we doing? She said, yes, it is. Right on my wall. I love it. Yeah, that motherfucker take up a lot of space. What up, Trent? Turn up one time. Imana, what up, though? All right, what we doing first? So, Black said he needed 5 days. That good kush. I don't put it in the sky. Man, you know what? I had this build on the other day, and it was talking about the Nation of Islam and all of that. Man, before we get started, I just want to go through that. But we're going to get into John Henrik Clarke, his take on 1619 and the first Africans to America. And then we're going to get to Big Chief. Not only that, we're going to have another person. I ain't going to say their name, but they're going to come in. But they got some clout. And they come out of that era of the 1960s era. So we'll see what they have to say about it. But we'll start here, though.
See, 25.
So y'all remember we were listening to this about the Philadelphia Miles. We didn't get a chance to finish. So we'll finish this off. It ain't too much longer.
Only me.
Nobody talks about this guy.
Right.
Now, Fred, this October, Elijah would have been 100 and what?
Shucks. 19.
He's been gone 50 years. He's been 120 something, right?
Yeah, right.
He was 77. He was 77.
When was he born? 1877, 1898. When was he born?
October 7th, 1897.
1897. Yeah, 97.
Now, he was 77.
That's chronology. Chronology equal what? Footwork. You know where you placed it. Huh? It's an old nigga. That's how old people talk, though. Like, you can't have a conversation with them and not, give full details. You can't be talking about somebody in the conversation and you don't put a name on it. You don't stamp it. You feel me? Yeah, very technical. Our elders. you know, and we lost it. We watered down, like, you know, the game watered down. But that's how they talk when you listen to them talk. They'll talk about one individual. That one individual will turn into their individual whole family, from their kids to what occupation they had, to what school they went to the different places that they lived. You feel me? If they were good in sports or if they were whatever they were talented in, you know what I mean?
In 75. And he been gone 50 years. So he'd have been 117?
Nah, man, what I know?
Right.
127, right?
Right.
So now this man been gone 50 years. Don't nobody talk about him, but they still talking about Nobadu Ali. They still talking about the Moors. Of course, you know I know all about the Moors. I just don't talk about it.
I'm gonna get his,
but it is what it is.
Moors too.
So going back to 25. See, 25.
I'm gonna let him go, and then
the brother's in 25. I don't know if Ali Muhammad told you or not. Ali is my little brother. Little brother Kenny 14X. Ali, that's his town. He's the director of housing for the mayor. He's with the mayor.
Mm.
But did you know that Mustafa was with Cory Booker?
Yes, I saw it in the documentary Who Killed Malcolm X.
Yeah. Now, that brother that was in there sitting on the seat, Alicia, she's smart. But Ben Crump got her thinking that this not going to end the way Ben Crump and his last 5 daughters thinking it's going to end. It's not going to end like that, Fred. It's not going to end. They're chasing a pipe. Fred, do you know how buried this conspiracy is?
Mm-mm.
Your grandkids are be in college if they ever find a conspiracy. Your grandkids children won't even.
Nah, fam, I ain't. Look at Trent say Moors mean dog one. Now, so like you say, especially in the Gullah Geechee culture, when we talking about people, if you talking to our elders, you can't have a conversation with them without mentioning names. You know, in order to talk about history, you have to have humans. So we ain't talking about a name or a noun, person, place, or a thing, or no shit like that. We gonna put a name on it. So when we say Moor mean dark, when he talk about Moor, he not speaking of it in that sense. He naming individuals who were part of the Moor Science Temple that he knew personally, and at that time they were well respected and they were activated. They were gangsters. That type of shit. I don't know nothing about a lot of these, you know. You got some real ones and fake ones and everything. It's more fake ones than it is real ones in the game, though. And that's in every department.
Read the real files. It's so buried.
See,
people underestimate Jack Hoover. Jack Hoover, he was a bad homosexual man. He was very smart. Very smart. When you look at it, Fred, people want to blame the New York Police Department, Fred. It was out of their hand. Do you blame in your eyesight, all your digging, do you blame the New York Police Department?
I blame all parties.
Hey, hold on, time out. I want to say this here. Man, we got Corey and Cahokia. Not only that, but Alpha also visited Cahokia. Either that was yesterday. I think Corey, when you went today or something, because he got the shirt that we got on up here. Yeah. And he went in Atlanta with us, so he ain't on the picture. But he hit the Cahokia Mounds. Treese went to the Grand Canyon this weekend. And like I say, Alpha, Empress, she was in Cahokia as well. So the energy shift is real. Y'all go check out Nunu channel, New Diamond, her name. You dig? Y'all go check out, subscribe. You feel me? Big Indian energy, big old BCU energy, and we need that spiritual essence in the matriarch, you know. So y'all shout out to Nunu. Make sure y'all go follow the queen and shop with her. She got some good things. I'm gonna do a giveaway whenever she give me an interview. Whenever she come on, so I can interview her. But yeah, we're gonna do a giveaway on the site to support her. And make sure y'all support my sister. She enjoyed her book just dropped on Amazon. Y'all go get that.
If it comes down from J. Edgar Hoover, what can New York do?
I mean, you can always have a whistleblower, someone to intervene, you know, someone.
But in 65, Fred, you thought there was anybody brave enough to blow the whistle on J. Edgar Hoover and live to tell about it?
Right.
So you have to look at it. See, a lot of journalists, I ain't saying like yourself, a lot of journalists don't understand. Everybody ain't willing to put their family life on the line to save somebody else's life.
Right.
So you got to think about Brother Gene had a family.
Mm-hmm.
They would have had somebody ran up to him and hit him in the back with a hot shot of heroin, kill him on the spot. So the man was put in a position that he shouldn't have been in. Like you just said, he should have told. But if he didn't tell him and Malcolm spoke on it, they would have killed him.
Right.
So what you said is partially true, but you also ain't looking out that Brother Gene had a family.
Right.
But he did
They
something.
Reed's in the building.
Got to give him credit. If he don't shoot Thomas Hare might have got away.
Oh, all that women got away.
All of them did get away.
Yeah, they did get away. 4 out of 5.
Yeah, but Thomas Hare.
Mm-hmm.
See, normally them guys were scapegoats. But Fred, do you believe they was a scapegoat?
No, I believe they did it. I also believe that there was a group above them as well.
Hear what I'm saying, Fred. That's a question that I can't answer. That's a question I can talk about because I got it. But Ali would know more about it because they was all in the mosque with Ali.
Right.
They was older than Ali, but they was in the mosque with Ali. Mm-hmm. And Ali was a young soldier, entrepreneur. You know, everybody loved little Kenny. Mm-hmm. But what I will say, that James Shabazz had a lot in it with Yusuf Shaw. And they used the Minister Farrakhan. He ain't no angel. I love the minister. But they used him for his charismatic speaking, and they threw him a bone to run with, and he ran with it. Even Atala said he might have not pulled the trigger, but he created the climax. But they got to understand that Farrakhan didn't have no choice. If he ain't spoke what he spoke, they might have killed his children. So people looking at him as being a bad guy, but they got to look at all these guys that played a part, Fred. They had children and family. So people don't want to look at that. They looking at the actual time, February 21st, at the ballroom in Upper Manhattan, 1965. They're not looking at the climax of it, not looking at it, why it happened and why it shouldn't have happened. They're looking at the guys that did it. They're not looking at the position that these guys that alleged did it put in it.
Right.
They don't know who really did it. You and I know, and Ali might know. Ali knows.
More.
But if you ask the average person,
wait, what up, though? Big and John.
They don't know who Mustafa is.
Man, we trying to. I need to talk to the president over the LDBC board, man, and see if everybody booked their rooms yet, or can we go in September to the Bud fight? God damn it, I need you on board with me to go in there. We need to get our numbers up. See if they already then goddamn bought their tickets. If they didn't, let's go. Let's hit Vegas, Canelo, and Bud Crawford fight weekend and turn that bitch out.
I don't know what he looked like in 1965. So a lot of people in the city of Newark saying that wasn't Mustafa. Now, I know it, Ali know it, a lot of soldiers know it. But if you look at it, Fred, you've seen the picture. You've seen this picture before he passed. Can you honestly tell that that's him?
No, I can't.
You going off of what his own people told you.
Well,
am I right or wrong?
Right.
So now you got it from a kid that he raised. So you can't help but to believe it. Am I right or wrong?
Right.
So before you talk to Ali Muhammad, aka Kenny 14X, was you in doubt until you got an actual person to say that was him?
It was more of confirmation than doubt.
So you wasn't in doubt.
No, I
before
believe.
you talked to Ali.
No, I believe. I just got the confirmation. You know.
You just didn't have no proof.
Right.
Until you got it from one of his guys.
Right.
Now, my question to you, Calvin Kelly won't talk to you.
Rand, I know Omaha in the building.
She don't want to talk. She said, let my husband rest in peace. Do you think she had something that he told her, Fred?
Yes.
Do you think she should make peace with herself?
Yes.
Fred, we talking about a woman damn near 90.
Yes.
I don't know. Ali knows how she is. Cause she Fred.
I'm gonna say what y'all know about Newark. Shit, this nigga know all about Newark. Shout out to Newark. Y'all niggas go crazy.
I was told that she still see. Here's the difference between you and Amir, the one that was on that documentary Who Killed Malcolm X. See, he went to
shit. Here go Rand and Morton. Man, don't y'all start this shit, man. I got videotape on y'all niggas still arguing over Earl Spence and Taryn. Morton, you need to let that shit, man. You need to let that shit go. Spence ain't got in there and fought again yet, man. You gotta let that shit go, man. Look, and then Rand, here come Rand. Why you in your feelings, bro? Man, you know why the hell he in his feelings, man. Y'all niggas need to leave that shit alone.
Newark. He didn't know if it wasn't from a stop.
Damn, Morton, we lost.
They left him in one of the alleys.
But Crawford, my favorite fighter.
He don't know no better.
Shit, you know.
And plus, Miss Alpha said,
damn, we lost. Goddamn, it's over with.
He didn't know. See,
I didn't watch that fight yet, and I would never ever watch that fight again. Even though Crawford my favorite fighter, I would never watch that fight again.
Fred, I look at it this way, and I'm going on record. You can put it out now. I don't give a fuck. That Ben Crump don't know. He don't know what he's playing with.
Ben Crump, huh?
He's playing with fire and don't even know it. He think he got them law books gonna save him. Fred, you got some die-hard Elijah Muhammad soldiers still out here. They kids. You got some die-hard stupid guys that's following Farrakhan. They don't know them fools might go get Ben Crump. Certain things you don't say. Fred, all the death threat Ben Crump done got. You see it where you go, he got a bunch of motherfuckers around him. People don't understand.
I agree.
Fred,
he went right. He went himself.
Why you think?
And, you know, his coach too at the same time. But you know, EJ even said it. You know, he went living a life like a fighter. That nigga was on some trap, boy. That nigga was trapping. He with some of the hottest rappers out of Texas. You know, that nigga is, you know, he's a king. He's a king on his throne, man. And like you said, you know, he wasn't just all boxing. So 1 foot in the game, man, you know we can't do that shit. And then you fucking with a nigga who chasing greatness, who out there training young niggas and coming up with the young champions, and they waking them up. He don't want to be the old guy. He got, and he had a lot to prove. So nah, man, you gotta be on your best behavior. But now conversation is Derrick James a big fight? Is he a big title fight coach? So it's coming down to the coaching and shit. So it's a lot into that. But nah, I don't think EJ was himself. But we'll never know.
Callan should tell her story. Why do you think she should tell her story?
Yeah, he
and what her and her husband talking about?
Yeah. He just posted. He finna get right. He finna get back with Blu-ray. We been saying that shit. Martin, tell him LDBC. We been saying, nigga, go back to Blu-ray. Cause he started training himself. He went getting a nutritionist, and then what he did, he went and got some of them up. Man, go get Blu-ray. Nigga had your ass doing motherfucking Navy SEAL workouts and shit, nigga. Green Beret workouts and shit, Special Forces workout, nigga. Push-ups. Where you get stronger as the fight go on, because you done did 1 million push-ups for the goddamn fight. So yeah, he posted, man, I'm finna get back with Blu-ray. So we happy,
Why do you think that, Craig?
I think so she can live her latter days free.
Canelo gonna get his ass whooped.
Damn near 90.
Boy gonna walk, man. Shock the world.
Two.
Boy, finna beat it out of Canelo. Watch.
Yeah.
History is gonna reveal it at some point. But whether it's 100 years from now, 50 years from now. So all
right, we'll push out. We'll get into our build tonight. What we building on? Let me get this done. We can go and start walking. We ain't gotta be here all night. And let me see.
There's a lot to do tonight, and
fair
we
use.
to have some discussion.
This is educational
So after the
purposes only.
lecture, maybe
fair use is educational purpose only.
be a stretch. I'll be right back to enter the discussion with you and let you ask as many questions as the time will permit. And remember, until there's a dialogue between you and the lecturer, you haven't had a lecture.
You ain't had a lecture.
If the lecturer doesn't encourage a dialogue, that means you don't encourage difference.
See, say what you want about him, you know what I'm saying? This nigga here was great. I give it to him. He made me want to be great. Man, I listen to so many tape on him. Now I use his books to roll weed on. No disrespect. But, I paid for it. But he was great. You see what he talking about lecturing. He lectured. He wrote books. He traveled to the places he taught about. He debated. He checked all of the books. He brought people together. He checked all of the boxes, homie. And he knew what he knows. He don't need no notes. He is the godfather of putting together the curriculum. A lot of things in him, I see in myself for as my purpose for being here. What he meant to the Pan-African paradigm is what I mean to the American Indian paradigm. But he talking about lecturing and niggas chunking that shit up and ain't got their shit together. Nigga, you gonna come out here correct. Cause you dealing with the minds of the people, homie. And you don't want to be a nigga where you gotta come back years later, nigga, and you done made a mistake or took years out of people's life because you were a bad researcher, or you wouldn't call for this, but you chose to be up here to get a microphone, to get the perks and shit that come with it. You dig what I mean? But many of your call feel chosen. You would not. A lot of these niggas weren't chosen, but they up here with a mic and they up here with the wrong purpose, and they ain't got it, and they taking years out of people's lives, homie, and they not helping. They hurt. It's something for them. They looking for something for themselves, a name in the game, but it ain't gonna be remembered.
Lecture,
you dig?
Maybe a stretch. I'll be right back to enter the discussion with you and let you ask as many questions as the time will permit. And
he said he gonna, after he do his bill, he gonna let you ask questions. What's the BCU saying? Y'all know how I get down, huh? My favorite part of the day, I'm gonna see if somebody in the chat know it. I'm finna press play and keep walking. But my favorite part of the day is what?
Remember, until there's a dialogue between you and the lecturer, you haven't had a lecture.
He had a lecture.
And if the lecturer doesn't encourage the dialogue, that means you don't encourage difference.
Huh? So a lot of niggas do meaningless shit. I'm gonna tell you something. One of the things I see a lot of people who do attempt to do lectures, first out, they have a PowerPoint. They shit not telling the story. We can't follow. They're reading and they're not teaching. Reading and teaching is different. And I shouldn't even be giving niggas this, but it's niggas gave me game like Dan Calloway. You know what I'm saying? Just little tips on this. Hey, do this here. Do shorts. Do this. Little tips. So I get this to the game. What I see a lot of y'all doing is y'all are getting y'all information from somewhere else. A lot of people will press play. They'll be inspired by a video that they saw, and now they want to talk on the topic. But they're actually taking their understanding is coming from the video that they're watching. I ain't talking about the people out there who learning this. I'm talking about the teachers are doing this shit. That's a red flag, especially for the people that believe in walking with them. You feel me? So, you niggas are reading and not teaching. So when you nigga read by yourself, put the time in, study. That's you're practicing. So when you know what you know, you got a full understanding. Then you can bring it out there. The only reason why you got it up on the screen is so the people can follow. You dig? But you better have your own understanding on it. Don't press play, let another nigga talk for you. Don't come out here and say, okay, here go the source, and you done read us 4-5 pages, nigga. We forgot what you said after the third sentence. But I ain't, talk to him, Pops. I call him Pops. Talk to him, Pops. Let him know how this shit go.
It is through understanding the nature of our difference,
Venezuela,
that we grow.
Okay.
Because we discover that we don't.
Favorite time of the day. Hold on. We got some real Jaguars in here. Favorite time of the day, Big Days, but these niggas who been around. Favorite part of the day is Q&A. Huh? Freeman, DC. Kerry, they want us, man. Favorite part of the day is Q&A. We fading all of that. We go throw that shit. We putting that shit in the parking lot. Man, we on some Josh Gibson shit, nigga. You nigga throw anything at me, nigga, that we putting that shit in the parking lot. And we ain't gotta go get it. We ain't gotta get back with you. None of that, nigga. We are equipped right now. You feel me? We on go time right now. Green light.
As much as we think we do.
KK.
All right.
Blue
This
water,
series is important to me and important. And I've tried to make it important to you, because there is a need to deal.
My bad, y'all. This is my last time stopping it. Hey, Blue Waters. Hey, you knew Big E? You knew Big E with the one leg. He was helping somebody caught a lady car on the side of the road, and he was helping her change her tire. He just pulled over, doing a good deed, man, and the car hit him, and the brother had to have one of his legs amputated. You knew Big E, that's my nigga. When I hit, he said, yeah, the dough for sure. You keep your thing. I know Big E. He been Goa City. Look, Big E, I'm on bird unit. And I'm going to chow. I'm coming up the walk. And this nigga scream out, Hoover. Yeah, I turn around. He like, what's up, nigga? Everybody looking. You know what I'm saying? I just, this is my first day. Boom, they popped the gate, nigga. My first day there, nigga. I'm hitting the child, nigga. Big E, nigga, scream. I'm coming up the walk. He on the other side. Ooh, I say, and I fell out of line. Nigga. I placed, nigga, and went to go holler at my nigga, man. Real big homie. He say, you good? You need anything? I say, nah, I'm good, man. I'm in the cell, working out. I'm sitting up, push-ups, you feel me? I had a bottom bunk, so I'm doing pull-ups and shit. And he say, shit, they gave me 25. It ain't nothing. I said, dang. Shout out to my nigga Big E, though, a real one. The first time I met J-Dog, the young hog, H-Time, Jefferson, Texas, East Texas, nigga, Indian shit. He was with Big E.
But why there are so many African people outside of Africa? There is a need to understand what happened to African people outside of Africa and understand the contradictions of the African presence in the Caribbean islands and in the United States and in South America. Because the African presence was the motor force
shout out to all
that set these nations in motion.
Dude.
And of all of the cultural groups
Montana
brought to the New World through force or voluntary, the African group brought the greatest diversity of culture and history.
Yeah, he from Jefferson.
And this is why it became necessary to almost immediately declare war on the concept that the African people had a history and had a culture. All right. The preface to African history in the Americas is an understanding of the hungry need of Europe. I won't dwell on this very often, but I'll be coming back to it because we are still in a bind, a mental bind, because we were made into a new people in the so-called new world. It wasn't new. Now, I'm going to tell an old story that I've told many times, yet it bears retelling. When I came to New York, avid reader, mostly other people's books, and having the fortunate circumstances of working for white people who had good libraries, and they never seemed to read books, so they never seemed to miss them when I took them home.
Hey, what white folks he talking about, y'all? He was a part of the Black Caucus. I think it was like six of them and like 8 or 12 YTs. And he was a part of the Black Caucus fraction. So the nigga that was talking about history, the white boy, he said never read a book, but they showed it. They the ones that came out with the concept that niggas was from Africa. And he the nigga, the black face, to come put the play together to speak to the niggas because they ain't trusting what these white boys saying.
So having read their books, and because I came from a group in the school from what the sociologists call the subculture, and there's no such thing, but the extreme poor. And I was the exception because I was extreme poor and brilliant in the classroom. Now, because of the color gradation, these are things we don't talk about, but we should sooner or later. Within the school, generally, the kids whose complexion was more related to that of the master got the privileges. And finally, a fifth grade teacher changed the pecking order. She said, no matter what color, who gets his lessons best gets the privileges. And she changed the whole assembly arrangement. And so therefore, now the dark-skinned kids had captured the assembly. And I was the leader of what we called then the Black Brigade. So
listen to them. Listen, fam. The people, they've been telling us. So he the leader of the Black Brigade, homie. He the general. See, when we were I don't know what people were listening to. And he had access to the white boys, the funding, the resources for as the books.
Intending to outdo those middle-class kids, little freaks who wore shoes all the year round and ate 3 meals a day, you know. I decided that I would do something exceptional in the assembly. I would lecture on the African and ancient history. So I go to this white man who's got a good library that I have been borrowing from for quite some time.
What's his name?
And asked for a book on the African and ancient history. And the phraseology.
Hold on, did he just tell y'all he didn't have the ancient African history? He had to go to a white boy and get a book from him to give him the information. So when I tell y'all that white folks came up with this concept that Negroes had a coach and their coach was in Africa, this is what I'm saying. Who you gonna go get that's bigger than Clarke, the master? Who you gonna get go get bigger than him? This his words, homie. These are the things I picked up. Like I said, I listened to hours of him, homie. So I know, nigga. I know where to go to show what I said, why T people came up with that concept. And he gotta go get his information about Africa. He taught y'all about Africa, but he telling you where he went and got the information to teach you about it from. Wow.
Of the South of that day when a white
Hold on, get some flames in here, man, and support the goddamn channel, nigga. Let's work.
It's not brutal to you. It's when he's kind. See, he let me down slow. He told me, "I'm sorry, John. You came people that have no history." Then I began to search for history, but this is the main point I'm leading to, is that when I came to New York and met Arthur Schomburg, and wanted to know the whole history of my people, I was a teenager then, so teenagers do things like this. On his lunch hour, henceforth, within the hour, I want to know it all. Tell me the whole story.
Hey, oh, Pops. Hey, I'm the same way. I'm the same way. So I know what type of time you're on. Yeah. Give
So
me the real
patiently.
shit too. Give me the real. I don't want. Give it to me all, nigga. I can handle. Put it on myself. I promise you. I'm go get it and come back with it.
Told me to sit down. And he said, son, go study the history of your masters. What you call black history, what you call African history, are the missing pages of world history. Now, because I've now begun to study European history, I began to understand how African history was misplaced in the history of the world. And the one thing that I learned repeatedly, you cannot oppress a historical people. And once a people understand the nature of their role in history, they will not permit themselves to be oppressed. In order to oppress you, people must remove you from the respectful commentary of history. They must destroy your confidence and historical memory. The memory of what you was, so that you can be confused about what you are, and more confused about what you still must be and where you still must go.
Listen, all of those things we learned at the house. We don't need world history. We don't need them white folk books to tell us. We got books on the family. We got family books. We don't need them to tell us nothing. We ain't got no lost history, nigga. We got land. We got grave sites out there. Been out there since 200 years. All we just got to do is go look at the tombstones. Our history, we already had it. They packaged it up to make us feel like, because the white boy told him, son, you have no history. So we don't take that firsthand because, homie, nigga, you don't know me. That's first off. You don't know me, fam. Boom, and bounce out.
In essence, this is what happened to us in the 15th and the 16th century.
What it do? Keep saying.
All right. Now, because I've given a course on Africa, I'm not going to dwell on this, but the essential preface to Africans being in the so-called New World, what the needs of Europe. Europe had exhausted itself. It had come out of the Middle Ages, of the Dark Ages. The lethargy was disappearing. They had partly recovered from the Crusades. They had lost 1/3 of their population through famines and plagues. They start looking for routes to the east, someplace where they could get some spices and sweets to put on that gosh darn awful European food so they can eat it.
Come on, Pops. I need you to work harder. You got to paint that picture, a little clear. We need some direct answers. We love the humor. You feel me? But, stamp some of this shit. You ain't even tell us the white boy's name or none of that. Like, stamp it. Or can you say it? Or is there certain shit you can say and certain shit you can't? I don't know. Let's walk, though. But I'm saying, you the GOAT. Let me see something.
All right. The Africans, the Arabs and the Berbers were controlling the Mediterranean and had blocked their passage to the greatest trading body of water in the world, the Mediterranean Sea. On the borders of that sea, world trade began. Hannibal passed across. The people came through the front door of Egypt, across that body of water. The amalgams from Asia came across that body of water. A process of domination that still exists started from across that body of water, and that is the physical bastardization of a people, followed by the mental bastardization of a people, making them confused about who they are and what their culture consisted of. All right. The Africans had preserved the sciences of Europe and the world at a university in Spain called Salamanca. The Europeans got that information, especially maritime information taken from China, expanded on it, got a catch of maps made by Jewish gold dealers, because they were they had a monopoly on the gold in inner Africa and in the Mediterranean.
Give me a name, man. Give me a company. Give us something we can go look up to find it. You feel me? Come on, Pops, you to go. No freestyling. We got to stand on it. Show that work, that chronology. Show that offense. Get off. You feel me? You storytelling. Let's walk. I know you're a bad motherfucker, but that's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Let me see something though. This ain't, put some names on it, put some dates on it. We ain't got a date yet. Let's walk though.
Now Europe is seeing the outer world.
Chad,
she's still heading for Asia. But on her way to Asia, Africa was discovered en route. The initial intention was not Africa. And they had no slavery intent toward African people at first. Now, discovering Africa, its gold, they were still reluctant, because they had come down the coast of West Africa looking for an African emperor named Prester John, who was a Christian, hoping to recruit him to help them against the so-called infidel Arabs and Africans who had been blocking, the Muslim Africans who had been blocking their route in the Mediterranean. They wanted to once more gain control of the greatest body of water for trade in the world, the Mediterranean Sea. After the decline of Rome, who made a disgrace out of the management of Christianity, Europeans had not controlled that sea. Christianity as a religion, because the Europeans adopted it, Europeanized it, became alien to the Africans who invented it and had it thousands of years before Christ. Now the European is coming out of his bind. He has no sentimental attachment to himself. He has no sentimental attachment to the rest of the world. He is hiding behind the cloak of Christianity, though he was not a Christian then, and he is not a Christian now, and he is mentally and totally incapable of being one. Now, in East Africa, the Arabs have already disgraced Islam. They had started a slave trade 600 years before the European. And this slave trade, after they lost Spain, preying on nations in Africa, had drained Africa of so much time and energy and resources and organization. The Africans now could not mount an offense against Europe. Now we see the enemies the Arabs that we had installed in Spain in the Mediterranean, because the military arm was African, turning on us. Now this is...
The people y'all installed in Spain were the Moors, who ruled these areas. The places that y'all are connecting yourself to is British occupied places, period, point blank, period. Y'all are more tied into the British after the French, after the Dutch occupation, and you know, and it turned over to the British hand. That's where y'all are more comfortable, because y'all are, you know, that's, you know, y'all are the British. Y'all coming from that line. And so the Moors that was in Spain, we showed when they left and went into West Africa. The people, the first Portuguese going there, they're fighting the Moors. If y'all came to the documentary this weekend, y'all saw that. You know, that was a conversation that was had, and it was stamped. The Arab in the story is the Moor. Why are Pan-Africans hiding that from us?
Bigger than my skimpy explanation, because every ally we ever had has turned on us when it was his or her convenient to do so, left or right, and there is no exception.
Hey, TB2 Live, fam. How you knew I was gonna send you that video, fam? Bro, soon as I jump on, I scroll, I say, man, this nigga here, man, this nigga gotta be kinfolk or something. Because last night, I watched the build again on the creek, and I said, man, I need to send this to TP. I woke up, he already had it. You a bad motherfucker, man.
Now the Arabs have turned on the Africans, moved down from North Africa and destroyed the great nation states in inner Africa.
Okay, correct. But let's identify them as who they are, the Moors. Don't make it seem like it's a boob from the corner store Arab at the bodega. That's not him. It's the Moors. There was niggas look like us. But if you tell them that there were niggas that look like us, then this collective, us all blacks get together, it don't work. So they'll cover up the crimes that them niggas did, and they'll give us a new oppressor who had nothing to do with it.
Now they would increase the slave trade along the coast of West Africa, the Portuguese and the Spaniards. Africa is in a bind now. East Africa is controlled by Arab slave traders. North Africa is controlled by Africans and Arabs returning from the conquest of Spain now that they've lost Spain. West Africa is arguing among themselves because they can't settle their family dispute. They will make a mistake by inviting the Portuguese to arbitrate their family dispute. Now, I've said this before, if you didn't learn anything from Godfather 1 and 2, you never, absolutely never invite an outsider to settle a family dispute.
That's real.
Never.
I agree.
Sober up old drunken Uncle Willie. Let him settle it. But it must be somebody from within the family.
Check.
Now the African is in a bind by the European. Now let us explain something that a whole lot of people have got misconceptions about.
Hold on, before you go, let me explain something that a lot of people got misconceptions about. Again, OG, like I said, the generalization. Because first you said Arab when you could have put the Moor on it, but then we would have had to look around and say, damn, the Moor look like us. So what is this whole all us or one shit? or all of us came, because you said the North Africans came down and enslaved niggas on the coastal and the interior ports. This is way before the Europeans get there, before the Portuguese get there. It's the only reason why the Portuguese went there, because they was at war with the Moors. They went to go get cracking with them. Nigga, what's happening? Everywhere you at, nigga, I'm coming. We finna scratch. Period. So what he leaving now is the fact that these Europeans he bringing up are actually melanated. Melanated people. Yeah, these Europeans are melanated. But they give us a white boy like they gave us the Arab. And neither had nothing to do with any situation. But if you see, that's why the black European is big six on the board. Let's walk.
Whether the Africans had slavery before the Europeans. In the European sense, no. Servitude is not slavery. They had worse servitude here in the United States, whites against whites. Many times the Africans in wars or difficulties would capture other African groups. These groups would have to work their way out of indenture, either tending cattle or doing something. Some groups built up a surplus of labor. The Africans had no big ships to take from Africans down the coast.
So the Africans ain't had no ships. Y'all seen with me and brother Reggie, one of John Henrik Clarke students, one of Dr. Ben's students. Check. Go back there, nigga. I got shit manted on the wall. I got heads back there manted on the wall. I went in being era, like Crawford said with the Canelo fight. He didn't get to fight all of them greats, but he get to fight Canelo, who came under them greats, who fought in their era. So yeah, I ain't get Clark now, but I got his students, and I ran them through there, and they on the back, head matted on the wall. That's how we do, scalped up, big Indian shit, nigga. And I licked the blood off my fingers. Yeah, and what my next target?
He knew a king further down who needed some labor.
What's his name?
Now that the Portuguese are there, he hired some of the Portuguese to take these Africans from one part of Africa and another. Now the European is interpreting this as meaning the African was in the slave trade. The African was not in the slave trade, and you let people beat you over the head with nonsense because you have not studied African culture to understand that the nature of African servitude, one to the other, had no relationship to the slave trade, that the slave trade was the greatest holocaust, the greatest drainage on a people in the history of the world. Africans had no ships that he could connect.
Check. So why a nigga want to argue with me? They not understanding. All I'm going to go do is go get your big homie. I'm not making shit up. What I always say, nigga, we don't see African colonies around the world. When we hear about Africans, they're walking. The out of Africa theory is niggas on feet, trekking. See, that's what Africans call trekking. How I know? I'm at Emirates Mall in Dubai, leaving out, little homegirl from Cameroon. She say, that's how y'all do it in the States. You don't walk a girl out, boom, cool. I take her out to the front where the cabs at, taxis and shit. I ain't had no change. I gave her a US $100 bill. You know, that's like $400 in they money. So boom, bounce off. She say she kept the money and trekked home. I said, what the fuck you mean you trekked? You rode the trek? She said, no, trekking is walking. Okay, teach me something. You learn something new every day. But yeah, she robbed me. So the next day I'm on the way to Abu Dhabi, and she sending pictures of Irish, some Irish, a drink. They over there getting fucked up partying. Talking about pull up. Bitch, what my change? Where's my change at, ho? For real though, nigga, where my change, cuz?
3 continents. And even if the African was in the slave trade, he could not have brought it all. He didn't have a ship that would hold 100 people along the coast.
Talk to him, OG.
Most of big fishing boats and river boats.
So
he could never have brought off anything as massive as the Western slave trade. Couldn't have done it if he wanted to. Didn't have the facility anyway. I am not saying Africans were right in imprisoning their in holding their prisoners of war and making their prisoners of war work for them. Well, that's better than killing them, but
nah, it ain't nothing better. It ain't real. And real niggas shouldn't have stood around and let that go down. And we not finna speak about no greatness when it's pure evil. You feel me? Like he said, the North niggas came from North Spain, came into Africa, came out of North Africa and Spain, went in the coastal and the interior parts of Africa, enslaved those people. Now when we get to the European and they doing business, we were always taught that the sub-Saharan slave trade taught the Europeans the slave trade. So that's Moors teaching these black European niggas the slave trade game. You dig? That's the real story without us generalizing, without us telling half truth. You dig? So you generalize, so you ain't got to put a stamp on it. Because you put a stamp on it, then you're going to get a name, a face, somebody we can trace and get his case to. Nigga, this is a crime scene. You don't tell us that the greatest Holocaust was pulled out here, but ain't nobody gonna get caught. No, we looking for our man. We need somebody to get a case to or the credit. Y'all know that BCU rules. So yeah, we looking for people. We gonna identify you, nigga. We like Mossad, CIA, nigga, French intelligence, nigga. Nah, we gonna find you, homie, because somebody gonna take this case or somebody gonna get some credit. Yeah, so real is it ain't cool. Real niggas on the block, it shouldn't have happened.
I'm saying that they made a symbolic mistake and a tactical mistake when they hired the Portuguese to take captives from one part of Africa to the other and gave the Portuguese the illusion that they were in the same trade and had the same intentions for enslavement as the Portuguese.
Hey, the homies say they killed the Mende in the Olmec story. Well, we know the Mende won the Olmec because you ain't got a ship to carry 100 niggas. Check. So we know, and they came before Columbus. Van Sertima lied about the Pharaoh in Egypt out the 25th dynasty coming here. The story they made up of Mansa Musa and Abu Bakr, his brother Abu Bakr, and he left and they don't know where he went. Then anthropology come up with a stone and say that it's a language on there and they call it the Va syllabary. But the Va syllabary was found here in the mounds. The Cherokees used it. A guy named Austin Curtis will leave to Liberia through the American Colonization Society and take the Va language, help create the syllabary out of the Cherokee syllabary and turn it into what is called the Va language, which ain't nothing but a Cherokee or language that was brought from Americans and created and instituted into what is called a Va language that they created for these people in Liberia, because a lot of Cherokees went out there. Look him up, Austin Curtis, the Va language. But the Va language go back to Freemasonry. And the Freemasons found it in the mounds as they were trying to figure out who were the mound builders. These blues. So they found it and niggas started saying it was Hebrew, but that came from Jewish Masons. You did, who had Iberian ties. Sephardic, and also Ashkenazi, who converted over and started breeding with Sephardins. This real shit. And that's the Gitz family. Matter of fact, while we're speaking about language, they're going to be accredited for the Cherokee syllabary. This same syllabary that's the Va that was found years before that by Jefferson them. And a lot of those archaeologists that was doing those mound excavations, you feel me? And so it go back to Phoenician script, really, if we want to keep it gangster. But that's bloodlines of the guards, 5 or 4. I ain't put out 4 since 2023. I might need to do a showing on that Friday. Yeah, if y'all down with it, if y'all want to see it, it's 4.5 hours. If y'all want to run it back, I never put it out. I only showed it one time. If y'all want to run it back, it ain't been out since 2023. It's about 700 something slides. It's 4.5 hours. If y'all want to, I'll put it up and we'll work this weekend on that Friday.
That was a mistake. It was a mistake because we did not know the European culture and we did not know the European mentality. Didn't know it then, don't know it now. Otherwise, you would behave differently.
What up,
the Africans came from a society that was collective. The European came from a society that was individual. Two kinds of temperaments, two different people. Now, in the Western world, you have become selfish, closed-door individuals. You get in your lonely room to think of something to tell your analyst. But if you had some friends, you wouldn't need any analyst. Because African society was so open. If you couldn't talk to anybody else, you can talk to the village gospelist, who was always available. That was a good drain off. But we became a different people in this bind. All right. If the concept of slavery was starting in the world, it was a going concern among the Arabs 600 years before the Europeans, and if there were so many people in the world, why the choice of the African as against those other people, collectively more numerous than the African? The question is both ancient and current. Why is Africa more exploited right now than any other continent?
Because the Africans that was put in power after 1960, the decolonization of Africa, were not Africans. That's your answer. It was all people with European bloodline, check, that was left there to overwatch European business. That's why you see all of them taking pictures with the queen and the king, and they had these relationships with them, these royal families. That's why a lot of them were assassinated, because they were put in position and then they went off course and they were eliminated for that. That's why. Failed to say what time should screen it. You tell me a good time, and I guess we'll let you pick. You pick the time, and but it'll be Friday though. It'll have to be Friday, not Saturday. So if it's Friday, then I'll let you pick the time.
Why do people willing to fight Africans and not willing to fight others? Why does Israel get more aid than all the African nations in the world put together? One nation.
Because Israel is a product of the U.S. After World War II, we know 48, they got their land. Same time, British supposed to pull it out of India. Same time, every European from France on down, Germany, everybody that's in the EU, everybody in the United Nations, these European powers came together because they have always been colonies of here. They always been colonies. Canada is on the North American continent, but they are European, Britain fraction. Even though it changed hands, you had different Europeans up there, but that's why, we can't just tell a little bit of the story. We got to give the details. That's why the details are so important.
Total population of the Jews, the total world population is less than 1/2 of the black population in the United States.
We can do that, fellas.
Why do they get so much attention? You get so little attention. They got that political thing together. You haven't got yours together.
Well, that's sad. Look how large Africa is. Y'all can't even come together with y'all damn self, but y'all got the nerve to say to come together with all of these other countries, even over here. Well, we have infrastructure. Y'all have yet to get a leader to come in and build infrastructure. Well, there's been a few, but they were assassinated by their own. And the people that replaced them, it was no infrastructure because the interest was never into the people. And that's why we always say people get it mixed up with this. It's Indian and African shit. It's not a beef between the people because we share the same struggle. You feel me? The same thing happened over there. The blueprint was created from here and taken over there. Y'all start the story off in Africa when the story really started here in the Americas. Everybody will tell you, everybody know that the first slaves were the Indians, the Americas. We have a date, June 9th, 1788, the exploration of Africa to discover the interior parts of Africa. Now, the Moors and Islam was already there, hundreds of years. Sub-Saharan slave trade. So by the time the Europeans get there, it ain't even a full-blooded tribe there. Cause these niggas been there hundreds of years amalgamating with these people. But why don't nobody tell you that? Because they can't make the black face a colonizer or what their foundation that they have built or standing on or attempting to, push out to express to the people, that all of that shit have come crumbling down. That's why, the Indian information was super important. But another thing that helped tremendously was the introduction of the black European bars. I'm waiting on somebody to get me a bust. I want a bust, man. Y'all know the bust. Shit, everybody drop $5. I want a bust. Get me a bust. Come out the TikTok shop, Amazon, whatever. I need a sculpture bust. And put me in a badass unit. Godfather of Black European Studies. Godfather of American Indian Studies. I want a bust. I want an Indian one. And then I want to be draped and dripped out in that shit. You know what I'm saying? That they call European. But when y'all come to Bloodlines of the God 6, I'm going to let y'all know because, see, it's a name for that. The way niggas wear their hairstyle, different things like that. No, it ain't got nothing to do with the wig party because niggas really weren't wearing wigs. Niggas was pressing that shit for real, you dig? And that's a style, that's an era, that's a culture, and it's a name for it. And I'm going to give you that game in Bloodline 6.
They got that religious thing together and that culture thing together.
Oh, okay.
Religion and culture are servants of a people, and they convert it to service. With you, religion is religion. You don't make enough demands from anything, especially the people who take up your time and your resources. We are the true believers. We out Muhammad, out Pope to Pope. We believe in things in their purest form. Can't go to the right or the left. They said go to the center, we go to the center. So now we become the victims of our own culture as the needs of Europe began to expand. Now, let's look at the beginning of the tragedy. It began slowly, like most tragedies, almost accidental. They took a few Africans out, took the Africans to the King of Portugal. The Africans were so well dressed, the King of Portugal thought they were royalty visiting. The Pope gave them presents as it was the custom and sent them home. The concept of slavery had not even gotten across to his mind. He was a Christian Pope, so they sent him to the monastery to pray.
What's his name? What's his name so we can follow this story? So we can go look him up so that we can make this shit real. Unless it's just a story. Come on, man. You the GOAT. You know, I'm looking for some Michael Jordan highlights. Let work, OG.
And relieved him of the job.
Let work.
But Europe was changing now. Europe had once more gained control of the Mediterranean. Now they had learned again what they had lost, longitude and latitude, how to handle ships. Now they were turning these ships into slave trading ships. They did not think that this was a violation of Christianity. In fact, some of the major hymnals in the British church was composed by slave traders. The hymn, How Sweet the Name of Jesus Sound, was composed by a slave trader waiting on the West Coast for a good wind and a good wave so he can take his catch back to the market. They saw no contradiction in exploiting you. As people celebrating the 200 years of the Constitution and see no contradiction in the fact that the Constitution never applied to you. Don't apply to you now.
See, OG, that's why the youngsters come behind, and I respect his position for is what he's battling, the information he's battling that's coming from these YT boys who he said them niggas ain't real shit. So I get it. You know what I'm saying? That was dead for that era. But if we would have stayed home, telling our people that the Constitution ain't had nothing to do with us and we ain't do it, you feel me? Now you're bringing them in the victimhood. Now you finna bait them. Now you finna make a hatred towards another group of people, which stress a nigga out and take years off of motherfucking life. When we should be putting empowering messages and correct, accurate information, because the Constitution come from people that look like us. Period. The founding fathers all look like us. Period. I got series on it. Why y'all ain't got no platinum pack? Go get you a platinum pack. There's too many niggas ain't got no platinum pack. Too many niggas see me every day. Been seeing me for years and years. Been getting free drop. Come on here, give you the good shit, the real shit. You want to support? Go get a platinum pack, man. Go get my work. Let me know that you believe in me. Boom. I want to support for the work that, you know, in the game you done put me on now. Plus, I'm finna go get out of this game. So, yeah, go get a platinum pack. That's how you support me. That's how I know a nigga care, because, you know, that's my work. That's what I put into it. That's my sacrifice. you know, to the game. Support that. Blood, sweat, and tears. Shit they got us on top. Or we'll still be stuck in this era. We'll still be fighting against people that come from under this school of thought. We'll be, you know, third-class citizens around this bitch. But we not. We the best. We the greatest, goddamn. Keep this shit rolling. Niggas support me. Go get a platinum pack.
But you have to understand something about powerful people. Powerful people never have to prove anything. Powerful people never apologize.
Why?
They don't document anything. They just say it. All right. Now, let's deal with some dates, some neglected dates. Let's deal with 1455. Half of Spain has gained its control of itself. And this half of Spain has colonial aspirations, though the Moors and the Africans are still occupying the other half. So they go to the Pope to argue about how to divide up the world and how they are going to treat people once they're in charge. They got ambition. We who are still technically slaves, never sit down and discuss with each other behind a closed door, what are we going to do once we become free? We don't talk about it. First, you got to acknowledge the fact you're a slave. So, okay, then, so now what are we going to do about it?
First, you got to acknowledge that you're a slave. Shit, nigga, what? The fuck? And ain't nobody unalive? Man, don't tell us that. Don't tell us that. See, this is what I'm saying, bro. We've been made victims. We've been made victims, bro. We not victims. We're conquerors. Big Indian. We scalping shit. Ain't a nigga. Ain't no man. Listen. We ain't on that. And so that's why the Indian shit is so, you know, yeah, give it up to Big Chief, nigga. I'm very aggressive. We not victims. We're suspects, nigga. We're the suspect. We're not the victim. We're the suspect. Yeah, that's why I got yeah, that's where the motivation for the work come. We're not going to be there. We're going to be great. And we're going to show them that we're greater than them with the information as well. And we're going to do it by standing on business where we ain't got to come outside ourselves because we were born with that birthright. We were born with everything we need. And then once you get knowledge of self, find yourself in the story and you're empowered and you tap back in, spiritually connected with that in which you come from, your roots, your ancestors, homie. And it makes you way more powerful than the story that these people adopted as first, you gotta acknowledge you're a slave. Nah, we not doing that. Big Indian business.
Once we throw it off, then how are we gonna act? This is not a discussion among us, and it should be a discussion. But what the Portuguese and the Spaniards are talking about now is how they are going to behave once they are in charge. How are they going to treat those other people? And the Pope says, you are both authorized to reduce to servitude all infidel people. So to enslave a person, all you have to declare is that he is an infidel, not a member of your religion.
Not a Christian. Right.
Nothing Christian about it, nothing humane about it.
Right. You're right about that.
Read Eric Williams' Capitalism and Slavery. It's all documented there in the first 3 chapters. Now the dirty business is underway, and the rationale, the reason for the European not being guilty has been given to him by the church itself. Now,
oh, don't worry about it, OG. I bring it up. Aaron Walken, I give you credit on this all the time. And I tell him, nigga, my OG, nigga, this what my OG told me. This what I'm going with. This was my big homie. This what my OG taught me. Fuck what you niggas talking about. This what my OG taught me. And he liked to fight. And he standing on Indian business. And he a real one. Yeah, he done ran many fades too. He take all his fades and won all of them. A real big homie.
between the time the Portuguese entered the business in the 1430s, 1438s and thereabout, to 1492, there was no large slave trade.
Buck, 4 in the door.
No large slave trade because there was nothing for a slave to do. There was no plantation system. They tried it at Madeira in the Canary Islands. Didn't work out. To have a large slave trade, you've got to have a large labor market to attract the slaves. So now, we're going to come to something that is terribly misunderstood. What did Christopher Columbus do or did not do? But 10 years before he had visited Ghana with the Portuguese crew that forced their way in the country and set up the first big slave trading post, Elmina, of the mines, because they were trading in gold.
Shout out to Sister Ivan B. She say if platinum costs $400, well, it costs $250. It was $400 though. It was exclusive. She said, why not make it $1,000 and put the purchasing a historical building? Now, everybody know that's my dream is to create a historical center. You feel me? So she said, no tax. There could be a BCU clubhouse, be transparent with every transaction. You know, man, you know, in the ideal world, you know, that would work. But I'm gonna be honest, even though I'm very, very optimistic and I love my people, I don't feel comfortable enough to ask them for that. Is it worth it? Yes. You know, I always make the joke. Shout out to the homie 19 Keys, man, doing his thing. 19 Keys, he make headbands. His headbands, I said, man, his headbands cost more than my portfolio. And it's hours of it. It's over 1,000 hours. Over 1,000 hours of hard work. You did. So it should. It's over 1,000 hours. $1 an hour would make sense going to a good cause like that. But nah, I never came out and asked the people for that. You know, that much support. And honestly, I'm afraid to. You know, because if they don't do it, you know what I'm saying, it can kind of throw me out my game and say, what are we doing here? I'm wasting my time. You know what I'm saying? If I'm not really with people who walking in my sight. Now, Tariq Nasheed them got $2 million in 30 days off of FBA. You feel me? Nah, real talk. Umar $2 million off Hope and the Prayer of all boys school. But something for the Indians, a dough for us to turn. And I do feel like a lot of people, you know, been around me for a little minute, see how I move, see how I handle, you know, what I'm standing on. And they probably would believe in it. So we would have some people, but I don't know if we'll have enough people. You know what I'm saying? It's some niggas that go to the end of the world with me. Some niggas out there that'll die fighting side by side with me. I know that, you know, but at the time right now, do I, you know, do I think that's a reality? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm underestimating myself. But I don't think it's a reality, you know. But yeah, it was $400. I went down to give other people opportunity to be able to get it who maybe didn't have that. You dig? So I wanted to help the people, and in return, they still ain't purchased it. So it wasn't a fact because there's more people bought it at $400 than people bought it at the discount. So that told me a lot. It don't matter what the price is. It's you know, niggas ain't on that. Niggas ain't willing to contribute, you know, to the cause or make a sacrifice to the cause. And I seen a lot of that, you know, and so that's what kind of discouraged me though. But excellent ideal and appreciate that, sis. That you know, shout out to Key Kai, appreciate that love.
As well as Africans. It's 1482. 1492, he sets out for the so-called New World. Africa is in trouble because Africa's last great nation state is falling. Sangay. Mainly because its emperor, Soni Ali, gets killed coming home from a minor war. A commoner, Muhammad Abubakar Ituri, takes over. He gives it a stimulation that would last for another 100 years. But the great states inside Africa called the Western Sudan, we don't study the independence, the large.
I don't know, man. So I see some people say they'll do it. If we put up a GoFundMe, see, this the thing. Let's say, like I say, I believe it's some people out there that will do it, but I don't think it's enough people to do it. So say like, boom, we do get it cracking. Boom, GoFundMe, here we go. I don't want to be sitting around for years and shit like, Umar, wait till we accumulate the money. You know what I'm saying? I always say I don't like the feeling like I'm holding the nigga money. So people for Miami, ask them how fast they got refunded. You feel me? Them niggas were took care of before I came home. So it's like, yeah, I know some people to support, but I don't know if we have enough that really willing to make that sacrifice for this. You did. And I don't know how, because I got a date that I plan on being out. I'm not going to be no old man here doing this shit. I got a date to get in and get out. And I want to get my work out. But, yeah, my ultimate goal is to create a research center where we, my thing was culture. Well, we keep that culture. We learn about these things. And we have camps and shit, for the children where the girls on one side, the boys on one side. And so they gonna learn all of the culture from top to bottom. Tilling the land, learning about all of that shit there. Women gonna learn skills that women learn and things that we had back then, we're gonna have the museum, the history section. But it's gonna be like you walking into, because it's gonna be a whole timeline that you walking through. You feel me? And it's gonna have that. That's one section. But other sections where we bring back what they took out, with the schools. When they took out the vocational school, they took the skills out. We're gonna have skills for that. Niggas for the teens, the youth and all of that. And even adults, that's coming home or want to be a part of the program, but we're looking to build and instill the original traditional American way into them, you know, show them how to handle horses, cattle, build farms, get back into the holistic, you know, nature and all of these type of things, you know, which is super easy to do when you calculate money and how many people. Like we put up a picture of us going to Mexico to the pyramid. That was $50,000 when you $50-some thousand when you add it up, and it wasn't even that many of us. So it don't even take that many, but it just take people that's willing to make the sacrifice or believe in the shit enough to make the sacrifice. It's possible and it's super easy to do, especially when you got a collective. It's too many people. Like, let's say if just the people that watch this video, say it get 10,000 views. If they did that, then we'll be in the position to get that type of shit going, like overnight. But you know, like the streets, you know, I didn't want to leave with a broken heart. This game here, something I love. I'm on assignment from my family. My auntie, y'all heard her, told me go get it, come back with it. So I'm on assignment. The last thing I would want to do is leave this game with a broken heart. So I'm scared of the results, you know, because I don't think enough people are on board. But those that are and do believe in it, I can talk to the girls and we can have a meeting, we can speak about it, and we can start a GoFundMe and we can really get some shit cracking, you know, for us, by us, because ain't nobody coming to help us.
Independent states in inner Africa that did not fall with the slave trade, that lasted 200 years after the beginning of the slave trade. These nations are in trouble. They're not falling, but they're now in trouble. But a new line, the Askir dynasty, a lineage, comes to power. Strong African, no-nonsense rulers who managed to keep the slave trade from spreading inland. In the meantime, it's flourishing along the coast. Now you see the need for a large number of slaves with the opening up of the so-called New World, with all the fakery about what Columbus discovered and discovered absolutely nothing. We now see the need for large labor supply. Plantation system. Now we've got to study the Caribbeans. We're going to come back to the Caribbeans again and again, because we don't understand the Caribbeans don't understand the Caribbeans, and their place in history is not understood, because most of the time it's not written about, and when it is written about well, most of the people don't read the books. But the Caribbeans have a different place in human history and a different place in the history of the African away from home, because the African began in the Caribbean, before South America, before the United States, because the plantation system, a new way of life, started in the Caribbean.
That's not true.
And with this new way of life starting, and with the
it started with America. That what you talking about? It don't start with Africa. How you get it to Africa, fam? That started from the Americas, from here first. Africa don't come into the picture till later. Only nigga in Africa is Portuguese. And what he doing? Going back and forth across Well, y'all, if y'all saw the documentary this weekend, y'all seen that they admitted that the Portuguese left Portugal and went into West Africa and created sub-tribes there. That's a fact. You could throw a rock and hit the motherfucker. That's who these people are. We just watched Brazil throw the largest carnival, and they put all of that in there, the whole history. But niggas is telling it like they're coming from one way, but they're actually coming from here. These people are already equipped in international commerce and seafaring and all of these things. They have abundance in their land. They got the Amazon river coming through that motherfucker. Gold, precious metal, gems and shit that don't grow nowhere else. You feel me? Back in the game, purple amethyst and shit was very rare. But then they found the bulk of it in Brazil, you know, and it kind of the value down. But Brazil introducing a lot of the cassava and a lot of these what they call New World or American resources over into Africa, into their colony that they had built there. Brazil are the largest speakers of Portuguese, not because the Portuguese came and changed their language, because the motherfuckers are Portuguese. The fuck is niggas talking about? I ain't talking about you, Pops, but I'm kind of talking about you too, if that's what you're saying.
Plantation system with the best plantations in Jamaica and Haiti. Now an economic system is developing that's going to save the falling economy of Europe. This is why blacks are minimizing when they start claiming things, because they ain't claiming enough. 1/3 of all the commerce to the so-called New World is coming from Jamaica and Haiti. Now, there is no America at first, at this early stage. There is no United States. There is no British colony. This would come later. There are no slaves in America, black or white, at this time.
Huh?
This would come later.
That's not true.
But the Caribbean, the development of the Caribbean plantation system.
The first slaves in the Caribbean system come from North America. What you mean? What are you saying? That's easy work.
And slavery system would be the backbone
Say, dude, what up,
of the development and exploitation of the African.
Hey, shout out to Kay for becoming a member. You know, after the speech, everybody, wow, rather than shit, we only got one person to go get the platinum patch. So that's what I'm saying about, you know, I don't want to shoot that line out there. And then when I pull my net up, you know, I'm discouraged and it's taken away from my work because I'm feeling like maybe the sacrifice is going in vain. Type shit.
Away from home. And these islands would become holding stations where they break the spirit of the slaves who would eventually be sold in South America and in the United States when it became the United States. We have to look at the evolvement of a new way of life in the Caribbean islands, the adoption and the resistance to this new way of life, and an advantage that the Caribbean people had then and have now, and never took full advantage of. Almost from the beginning, they were the majority in the population. And when you are the majority in the population, though you are a slave, you've got a psychological advantage because you know that one day you will have the land. You know that that minority that's controlling you can't last indefinitely. So the shaping of the Caribbean islands, especially the two islands that produce the largest amount of revenue for Europe, is taking place long before there is a United States. One of the main reasons why the African fitted into this terrible scheme, one of the reasons why Christopher Columbus was told to go to Asia and didn't go, because he had discovered through African sailors that the pickings were better in the so-called New World. Then he double-crossed Isabella and changed his routing. Now, I'm sorry he didn't go to Asia, because they were more sophisticated there politically. And they would have wasted him, and that would have been the end of that story. The Africans were rather naive politically, kind to strangers, traditionally hospitable to strangers, still are. Nearly always the wrong strangers, to this very day. Now, because he went to the New World and because he didn't go to Asia, he could make claims in that part of the world that he never could have made in Asia. He couldn't say that he discovered anything in Asia. The Chinese would have told him, so where does this food come from? Discovered what? We are the ones who introduced spaghetti to Marco Polo. We're the one who introduced paper money to the world. We made the 3-decker ship when the Europeans hadn't even made the 1-decker ship so well. And this is documented proof. And he wouldn't have pulled that. Not only Asia, you had some sophisticated people over there. The Indians had been conquered by the Iranians, and they had partly driven them out, and now they were being taken over by another bunch of thugs. These people were politically elite, mainly because certain pressures had been brought on them. I'm sorry Christopher Columbus didn't go to Asia. It would have been a different world story about the whole concept. But the concept is developing now because the coastal states in West Africa are in trouble, arguing among themselves. And had the Portuguese stayed away 50 years, they would have settled the argument and been strong enough to resist. So when Europe is having all of its arguments, we don't take advantage and go in there and take them over, and we could have. When the Africans conquered Spain, Europe was so poor and weak, all the Africans needed was shoes to take all Europe. Marched it into France and changed their mind and went on back. So who in the hell wants it? Kind of people we are, kind of temperament we've got. To us, things have to make sense.
And that's why the Indians are here. Because the shit y'all gave us ain't make no damn sense. Big T Topcatz in this motherfucker, nigga.
The European conquer, sometimes it don't make sense.
It don't.
He kills his own labor supply, and he's physically lazy anyway, so he'd kill a man who's going to serve in his tea. He looks around, kill off his labor supply because he ain't thinking about it. All right, now, The business is a business. And many of the slaves who were to go to South America originally came from the Caribbean islands. That was the holding station for the whole of the New World for a while. After a while, there was a split between two Portugals. One Portugal serving Brazil and one Portugal serving Lisbon. So you had two Portuguese slave trades.
That's right.
Now you have a direct slave trade between Africa, South America, and Lisbon, and that market.
He's right. And I shouldn't even be pointing that out. So let me keep going, because y'all don't need to know. Let's bloodline go at 6 shit.
Now you have a change, but you have less of a drain on the Caribbean supply at this juncture, but a development of the Caribbean plantation system. You have something developing also in the Caribbean plantation system that has almost disappeared from the Caribbeans of today, disappeared by the end of the 19th century. African culture continuity. Because the slave masters in South America and the Caribbean bought in large lots and kept the lots together. So they could speak each other's language, speak each other's drum language, speak each other's tonal language, had some of the same customs. So the people in this area were more distinctly African than those who would eventually end up in the United States. So this is a result of the 200-year turning point in history. The 200-year turning point when the entire world was changed to suit Europe as against the rest of the world. There have been lots of turning points in history. One earlier one was the conference at Nicaea, when the Europeans took a basic African religions, whitened them up, and made a European concept of Christianity.
It never happened, bro. The popes at that time looked like us. That never happened. They're fighting the information that the YT man is putting out, but they're making sure that the white T man is the victor in the story. He's the oppressor and we are the oppressed. Like you said, first off, you got to admit that you was a slave. This is the wrong mindset if you going to empower and build the people up. And it left us in this victim stage, and it left us vulnerable to politics. And that's why this shit was government funded. And they were packaged up and put into a political ideology. And also education through African studies, African heritage studies, African American studies, and shit like this.
A concept that could enslave people without feeling guilty about it. So when you speak of European Christianity, let's call it European Christianity. But the Christianity that came out of Africa and that existed before Christ had a all-binding spirituality and an all-binding respect for all living things, including the cockroach, including the tree, including the water that flows. Everything that lived got respect. Now the Europeans created a religion that respects only the people he designated for respect. And he's designating a whole lot of other people for slavery, which is most of the world. Now, using religion as the handmaiden of his worldwide expansion, he's accusing people of not being Christian. When he say you're not Christian in his way of being Christian. He's encroaching more and more on South America and more in the Caribbean. But because the Caribbean people happen to be a majority, and because the African people in Brazil happen to be a majority, a series of historical revolts are now being set in motion. The Berbice revolt in Guyana, the revolt at Palmeiras that will bring an entire African country into being in Brazil, another African country at Bahia. Africans are asserting themselves as Africans. Nobody's called Negro, nobody's called color. These are African people using an African prerogative, still remembering an African culture, which is the cohesive force that holds them together. This revolution in Bahia, in Palmeiras, and in Berbice, all what happened before the American Revolution. Now let's back up a little bit, see if we can start toward the summary, which is impossible considering all the notes before me. Now, there have been major revolts in the Caribbean. 2 African states established in South America, Bahia and Palmeiras. There have been the early Maroon revolts in Jamaica, although the Maroons were all over, including the United States, because the word means runaway. But the most noted of the Maroons were in the United States. The Maroon revolt right? Before Captain Kojo in Jamaica. Right? All of this had occurred, and the Africans in South America and the Caribbean had asserted themselves as African people and had challenged the entire structure of the new society. All of this had happened before 1619. 1619, a Dutch ship picks up about 20 African people, bring them to Jamestown, Virginia. This is also misunderstood because this was not the beginning of chattel slavery. This was the beginning of a form of indenture for Africans. And when they arrived in Jamestown, Virginia, most of the slaves in America was white and Indian. They arrived in Jamestown, Virginia. They eventually worked their way out of indenture. Remember, you have to work 7 or 10 years and you're free. The first 100 years in the United States was not chattel slavery. The British were absentee owners of large plantations, grew tired of buying new slaves every 7 or 10 years. So the concept of chattel slavery was introduced. Now it is introduced in the Caribbean. But something is beginning to appear in the Caribbean that the British not taken properly note of. The British brings over a low class of whites, basically technicians, to fix the sugar mills and do all of this. Because the British are a minority, The white skin is at a premium. And so these whites now have status that they never had. So now you can command respect for everything with a white face. So taking advantage of the women, and gambling and drinking, that class of whites really just exhausted themselves. These were the whites supposed to keep things going technically. They were not upper class. They were just people, basic fixers of mechanics. Now the Africans in Jamaica and other islands began to learn the same trade and practices.
Huh?
This is the origin of the Caribbean free man.
Uh-oh.
Now you have a spokesman class that's going to demand some relief from the harshness of slavery. Up to this point, slavery in the Caribbean was as hard as slavery could possibly be. But now, because of the laziness of the British technical class, the African is learning to be the wagon masters, to make the furniture, to fix the sugar mills. And the British would bring over British furniture directly from England. And with that soft wood the furniture was made out of, the termites would eat that furniture for dessert.
Huh?
Now the Africans would look at this piece of furniture and reproduce it. And if you go to some of the big houses...
Come on, fam. You ain't... Nigga, how you gonna look at it if you don't have furniture in Africa? See, we have furniture over here. The reason why niggas sit at the table and eat, that's our part. That's a part of our culture. We sit down and eat together as a family. Nigga, that Indian culture. Because we created furniture. We created the tables. We created chairs. We created plates, spoons, knives, pots, cooking. That's why we gave y'all the Columbia Exchange. The hell of African eyeballed it and he was able to make something better. No, that was American Indian shit, nigga. Don't tell us y'all did something here that y'all ain't do for yourself back home.
In Jamaica today, or any place in the West Indies, you will see some of that furniture. So well made you could put a truck on top of a bed and would be no damage. Jamaica had good mahogany then. This is before they stripped it and sent most of it to Europe or misused most of it. It hadn't got a good supply now because they've used it up. But Jamaica was a great mahogany producing island. So was Haiti. So the hides from Jamaica, the mahogany from Jamaica, the rum and the syrup from Jamaica, the sugar from Jamaica, gave it.
Well, they got that from Brazil though. The sugar came from
made it
Brazil.
A valuable piece of property.
The Jews out of Brazil brought the sugar down.
With these free men.
And that was that's bloodlines
negotiating. They were not slaves now.
Don't go too far, Chief.
They had used their skill to negotiate themselves out of slavery.
Brother Run say, I am breaking his heart going after the master teacher. Damn, fam. Run. So you mad at me and you not mad at him? So wait a minute. So I come open the gate. They got you as a slave, because what he say? The first thing you got to do is understand that you a slave. First thing you got to do, is come out and acknowledge the fact you are a slave off top, and that you don't have no history. So you mad at me and I just can't, and I'm freeing people out of this psychological chains in slavery from this shit that you call a master teacher. You can call him a master teacher in his field. I have no problem with that. But that shit there, I mean, look at our people now. Why you think they like that? So I'm breaking your heart, but this, I'm not the one telling you. I'm not the one put you in the victim state. I'm not the one that created you a white colonizer or oppressor. I'm not the one put you in the inferior position. I'm not the one who took your family history from you and took you from America all the way to Africa psychologically. I'm not the one. I'm the one who came and nigga broke the lock on the chain and opened the gate and proclamated nigga and opened the gate and freed niggas. You mad at me for freeing the slaves, homie? You niggas was turned into slaves off of this shit. I come back and free you, and you mad at me. I'm glad you told me that. I'm glad you came and nigga say you breaking my heart. But you got all the what I always tell y'all, we have been taught to love our colonizers. We have been taught to celebrate our colonizers, the people who put us in this position. And it's people like Brother Run, you feel me, who don't want to come out of this position. They want to be a slave. African descendants of slave. We got Yvette Cornell. They using the wrong language. We need to let them know we won't be called slaves or any of these other titles that's made up. It'll be all this shit here that never fought in a war. You know, none of this shit we ever fought for, none of this shit that ever been us. We don't need a new name. We don't need nobody to give us a name because we already have one. Our bloodline is where our inheritance is at. And they take it when they tell you don't have no history. He came out and said he wanted to learn history on ancient Africa, so he went to the white boys who had the good books on the history of Africa. Sure, but you mad at me and you niggas getting some information because a white boy said y'all from Africa and he came and brought the story that you was from Africa and you celebrate him, but I hurt your feelings. You fucked up at me because I didn't free the people. See, that's why that Pan-African shit is dead. That's why Umar is out here doing bad. That's why y'all Pan-African leaders are doing bad. The numbers are low. Nobody is interested in it. None of you niggas got passports and never been to Africa. None of you niggas practice African culture, don't know what tribe you're from, doing DNA tests and DNA labs and sold all your information off. You niggas the fools. You niggas took this shit and let them people put you in a position to send your data to these companies, and now they selling the shit out to the highest bidder to private companies. And so y'all been put in that situation. Y'all got pimped on like hoes. Real talk, nigga, and I came and freed my people. I ain't here for everybody. I'm here for the people, indigenous people around the world, because this shit happened to all indigenous people around the world. But I'm here for the people that say enough is enough. And nigga, they breaking them generational curses in them ties, and they tapping back in with their genealogy, knowing their story, what they had in the story, so they don't have to adopt or take on this bullshit slave narrative, you know, that niggas put on you. You feel me? Who was sitting on caucuses with white folks who didn't have your best interest. Yeah, that type of shit. So you could be fucked up at all you want, nigga. I hope your heart broken, all that type of shit, nigga. But you a slave. So what a slave doing with motherfucking emotions? A slave shouldn't have no emotions. Real nigga spill. You feel me? A slave need to be getting out of the position he in. Like you say, first you got to acknowledge you're a slave, and then you got to say, okay, what do I do about it? So, yeah, you need to still figure out how not to be a slave. You feel me? Since I didn't hurt your heart, nigga, I was the shit I been kicking, nigga, because I didn't free so many people off the plantation and off slave boats and shit, nigga, and brought them back home to America, and they happy than they ever have been. But there's niggas like you and there's others out there who took this bullshit, nigga, a master teacher. You ain't never met that nigga in your life, but he's a master to you. This some Jesus type of concept. A nigga don't pick a nigga to give me. You feel me? When I had men and individuals in my life that I can look up to. I got ancestors that had made major contributions to this country, nigga, that I can look up to. I don't need no nigga to look up to. That's why I never came with a message for people to follow me. I gave them the art of agriculture, the science of agriculture. They could do it themselves. And I taught them how to goddamn fish themselves so they can feed themselves, and goddamn how to get their water, you dig? And then take it back home. Go find yourself in the story. Don't follow me because I got to go find my own story. But follow yourself. And I gave niggas the tools to free themselves. And nigga, the Indians on top, and this type of shit right here is played out. You know what I'm saying? This shit played out.
So if a Caribbean person, I'm descendant of free men going back to 200 years, chances are some of them could be telling the truth, because some of them are exaggerating, but some of them could be telling the truth. Because these Caribbean free men go back a long ways to the 1600s. But they were affecting some relief on the harshness of slavery. All of this now, and the black man in the United States is just beginning. So now they work their way out of indenture. Some of them became landowners, and one, lo and behold, became a slaveholder. I'm not proud of him, but as a matter of fact, one Arnold Johnson became a slave owner. If you read a book by Lerone Bennett called The Shaping of Black America, read the first 2 chapters. Read especially the chapter on white servitude. The nature of white slavery in the United States, it was so harsh. Many of the white slaves married blacks and was glad to do it. This before color prejudice set in so tightly. Now what you have to look at, what happened to the development of Africans in the United States between 1619 and the American Revolution, 1776. What happened in that span of time that a whole lot of people have forgotten?
What happened?
First base, the British had eliminated indenture status.
Okay, Bacon Rebellion. You talking about the Bacon Rebellion? Let's walk.
And the African became chattel.
They did? No, the African didn't become chattel. The black European became chattel. Bars.
Many of the whites could work their way out of indenture. Many of the whites.
White was a status. There's no white people here. Benjamin Franklin, Increasing Mankind. There's no whites here, homie. It's all niggas. Black Europeans. Indentured servants. Bars. What we doing? Indian time. What we doing?
Worked their way out of indenture and bought that black lover out of slavery. Benjamin Banneker was born out of one of those relationships. The mother, who had a black lover, she got out of indenture, accumulated some money, bought her lover out. They married. Benjamin Banneker is the offspring of their daughter. Now something else is happening that we're going to work on a little later. Now the first of the Caribbean free men are coming to the United States and hooking up with the free black New Englander. All right, now how did the blacks in New England become free. More about it.
Hey, I just left New England. I got all the drop. What is we doing? If y'all saw the documentary, here we go. Because it was some niggas. I saw some oohs, some eyes, and some wows in there when we got to the New England history. Big boys. Watch, see, all that shit that I got going in the course, though. And we're going to tie it all up. I might clip this part. Watch what he say.
Later, but now, the winters were long in New England.
Get the likes up, family. Get the likes up.
So you could only use a slave 6 months a year. But the only way to keep him for the 6 months, you got to support him during the winter months. It wasn't profitable. Had slavery been profitable, slavery would have been just as brutal in New England as it was in the South. This wasn't profitable. And besides, you had enough poor whites who would do anything, so poor they would do anything. Now you had the beginning of the industrial slave. Slaves who learned to work in mills, slaves were carpenters, ship's caulkers. You got the beginning of an employment for the Black American free man.
TJ, what
you
up,
got
though?
the first contact
what up, though?
with the Caribbean free man. And the first contact we have a record of that Prince Hall came from Barbados, and he began to ask some questions about all these people talking about liberty and justice for all and whether this meant us. And they told him, in this country, if you're a minister, you get respect. So he became a minister. He didn't get much respect. For your property owner, you get respect. So he began to own some property. Nothing changed. And finally, somebody told him, you've got to have an organization. So he went to the British to get a charter, start a Masonic order. The British wouldn't give him a charter, but there was an Irish regiment angry with the British, and they gave him a charter just for spite. And he started the Black Masons. This was the beginning of cooperation between the Caribbean free man, the Black American free man, something both of us have stupid.
The Caribbean and the New England. Stop playing, fam. Let's really talk about what happened. So that's the beginning of the Black Masons, huh?
They've forgotten about. Neither one of us call ourselves Caribbean or American. Both of us call ourselves African.
Huh?
And when Prince Hall established the Masons, he did not call it Masons. He called it the African Lodge.
No, he didn't. No,
so
he
the
didn't.
African consciousness,
No, he did not.
the African connection was firm. This, of course, would lead to other free men coming to the United States. John B. Russwurm from Jamaica, one of the editors of Freedom's Journal. Robert Campbell, another Jamaican. He would accompany the American Martin Delany in a search for a place, because this is the embryo of the settlement of the colonization society that already started. And these were Africans going back to Africa to search for a place to settle for those who wanted to return. So Robert Campbell goes with Delany. Read Robert Campbell's account. Robert Campbell was a Harvard-educated man. So it's a Harvard man's account. Read Robert Campbell's account. They've both been published in the same book, University of Michigan, Ann Arbor paperback, called Search for a Place. Robert Campbell's essay, Pilgrimage to My Motherland, is one of the most moving and feeling books ever written about the love of a man for the country of his birth. His grammar is off, it's a little rough here and there.
Yeah.
But if you can get the feeling that this man gets across in that rough-hewed essay, it towers over Delaney's essay, not because it's well written, it's because it's not well written. But it's written with so much feeling that you're willing to forget this. Now, what we're having is an intellectual class, is a responsible class, and a coalition between Caribbean free men, Black American free men. They had enough mobility until another Black American free man, a preacher, Garnett, was invited to come to Jamaica to rest up from the wars and the trials and tribulation in the United States. He came to Jamaica, and after a while, someone let him know that condition in the United States had not changed. He thanked the Jamaican host and said that, I'm going back to the United States, not to ask for justice, because I know I'm not going to get that. Not to ask for mercy, not to ask for citizenship. I'm going back to the United States to devote the rest of my life to trying to tear that republic down. Black men don't speak that way anymore. They don't have this kind of a nerve anymore. Let the house come down. If I can't be a man in the house, let's burn it down. So,
okay, that's enough of that. Shout out to Pops, shout out to the work that he put in, but it's a new day, and it's a new sheriff in town. Type shit, new sheriff in town.
Didn't the Europeans marry into those families?
For sure, yeah. But numerically, I'm not sure that made a huge difference. The major source of gold, which is modern-day Ghana, no European really was able to tap into that. The indigenous people simply made sure that wouldn't happen. It wasn't until the late 19th century that you had the Europeans had the ability to force their way into Africa.
Professor, I have a question about the side. On the British side of Africans coming will begin with the Virginia Company of London. The 1619 project, how much do you get on the 1619 project? Because I think the White Lion, was it there or did y'all update it? Because I think at one point we couldn't find it.
Yeah, no, it's there, it's for sure. Yeah, we know about the voyage.
He said, yeah, for sure it's there. So did y'all update it and put it there? Because it wasn't always there. Updated, was it not there before and then later on y'all updated it?
Yeah, that's right. I guess we got the full story only about, 2018 or 19. Yeah.
They just got the story 2018-19. And they just now updating the site. Which means somebody brought them that information. They didn't find that in the research they were doing for those about 15 years worth of research. They never found that. That's why it didn't come out in the initial or in the beginning. These are things that were asked to be put in there to solidify a lie, to make a lie true. The reason why I asked, I'm familiar with Nicole Hannah-Jones. Like you said, you have the voyages, but the records of Virginia Company, 1606 to 26, volume 3, it speaks about the 20 odd Negroes actually had been purchased in the West Indies.
Yeah, that
and
sounds
not
right.
Africa.
Yeah.
So I know you speak about the British actually, redirecting, pirating, and taking over ships. But in this case, we were told that it was 20 odd Africans. There's actually a historical marker there. It says 20 odd Africans, but when we go to the records of the Virginia Company, they actually said it was 20 odd Negroes.
Right.
And coming from the West Indies, and Negro is not all. He said, right. Okay, right. Now, Negro doesn't mean African. Always African.
Yeah, I think we've now got the record of the vessel that the White Lion captured, and I think that's in the database now. Yeah, I'm not sure it's quite right to say that they came from the Caribbean.
Okay, so also, I'll take you over to private. Hold on. He said he want to fight. He said, I don't think it's right to say that they came from the Caribbean. We got records. Oh, yeah? Come on, man. You ain't here with a bad. You ain't here with, say, you ain't here with, hey, bro, this a heavyweight championship fight. Undisputed on the line. Yeah, so just in case that first get off, let me get you together. Progress of Nation, Civilization by Ezra Seaman, and he speaks about the inhabitants in Virginia, 1618, 1623, and he talks about it being 1660, you have 30,000, 138 whites, 2,000 blacks, but Professor Tucker speaks about William Berkeley, which would be the governor, of course. He was asked about it, and he said the population was 40,000, 2,000 were slaves, 6,000 were whites, indentured servants. But he said the importation of the slaves did not exceed 2 or 3 cargoes in 7 years. But the servants estimate 15,000, and mostly whom were English, a few Scots, and few Irish. He never mentioned African. So I think one part of the story being put out, and this is why I say this, because we know that right here with College William Mary, you speak about on the site, you speak of them in the sense of captives. So we know that the Cromwell in Ireland in the 17th century made slaves with subject Irish people, 100,000 women, children, seeds, and they shipped them to the West Indies, and they were sold on slavery.
Yeah, but that's not quite right, because they were not slaves. They were in effect indentured servants.
According to the book that William.
Don't worry about it. If y'all seen it, y'all know he got off of that. Oh, that ain't right shit, and he got right. Somebody said bars. Yeah. If y'all watched it, then y'all know he got off of it. He let that go. Boom. Bounced off of it. Y'all can have it. You gonna do me like that, fam? Punches and bunches, combinations. You gonna put together a combination on me, fam? Damn, that how we playing? Fam, you gonna take off on me like that? I'm 85 years old. Shit. This young nigga coming here hitting hard. I didn't know y'all was sourced up. Yeah, I thought this was gonna be something else, but y'all was sourced up. Nigga hit me hard than them. You know. All right, man, bring it on in. Long as we got each other, homie, we don't need nobody else. Indian gang, it don't bang. Go get a platinum pack. Stop coming around every day. If you a BCU, you should have a platinum pack. Period. It's a lot of shit. What my cousin Junior say, it's a lot of things. We need to put some paint where it ain't. Homie, I'm coming out of pocket. Back to back. And I ain't, even if y'all don't, I'm still gonna do it because I'm on assignment. But goddamn nigga, I ain't saying give me something and you don't get nothing back. But I'm saying if you BCU, homie, you need a platinum pack. Real talk. If you want to support what we doing over here, go get a platinum pack. You did, so we can go get it and come back with it. Bring it on in. What we do in this lifetime will echo in eternity. The legendary BCU. Wow, 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 wow.
I can smoke on empty so hard in my blood, yeah.
Yay.
I see fast pretty faking, so I got trouble trusting. But I'm my God, baby.
Hey, the link to the pattern pack is pinned at the top of the chat. The link is pinned at the top of the chat.
Oh my God, you. She said, take your time.
Hold on.
Baby, I'm a dog.
I'm a dog, I'm a mud. Go, go. Hey. Real. Come on out here on that dance floor, Real. What we doing? Real, come meet me on the dance floor. Hey.
No condo, say your name and the fight. You can stay. It's been one of those nights I ain't had in a minute. It's been a minute, had to pop a shoe to recreate the feeling.
How we gonna do it?
Never the same as the first time we did it.
Wow.
First time we did it. But I let my guard down to you. My guard down to you. Should I be more so you can bring my heart if you want to? She said, take your time.
What up? Wow.
She said, take your time. I said, baby, I'm a dog. I'm a body.
Oh. Yeah, we coming. Yeah. The dumb way. We gone. Yeah. We gone. 2025, we turning up with the really hit song way. Anything, get on back. Bang. Whoa.